Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We got a big show lined up, some special guests coming in here, and we got all kind of cool things to talk about, and some pictures. And I really got a situation with some pictures. You're going to really enjoy one incident. We're going to show you where a fish is caught and then recalled. It's just fascinating. But let's get started with our weather brought to us by Panhandle Technical Center at Baldwin and 77. It's cooling off here. It's coming up. They promised us, but it's going to be high of 88 today and low of 71. The water temperature is still has dropped that 1 degree down to 84, so it's hanging in there 84. But I would imagine within the next 2 weeks we're going to see this water temperature start going down even more. And we have some good shows coming up talking about that. Our river reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take it outside with Mountain Dew, and it's going to be a good weekend. Looks like weather-wise coming up. It's going to be cooled down a little bit. Not as cool as they first thought it was, but it's going to be a nice weekend. We've got a full moon coming up pretty soon by the weekend, so be aware of that. Now, our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, and today is Wednesday, October the 9th. We've got pretty good outgoing tide. It's going to be high this morning right now. Pretty soon it'll be the high tide. They're going to be going out all day. So it'll be low tonight at about 4:45 or late this afternoon at 4:45. So try to fish this morning if you can. Marine forecast, east, northeast at about 5 to 6. Not a big factor as far as the wind if you're outdoors. Let's take a break. We'll come back with our guest. Welcome back, and sitting here with our friend and supporter and smart student, Daniel Cole.
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Captain Rick was on yesterday. He broke the news about you making so high on your test. And
yeah.
Did you have cliff notes to study by, or how do you prepare for a test like that?
You know, I thought my state certified electrical exam was rough, but
yeah,
that one there, that took a lot of study. I mean,
well, congratulations.
Covered a lot of ground.
Yeah. Do they just when they test you on the composite material or the angles? What do they ask you on those kind of tests?
You'll have out of 12, 13 different kinds of corrosion. What type of corrosions is each type? Bimetal, singular metal. Is it chemical reaction? Is it atmospheric? Different metals you can put together that you won't have an effective electrical current that'll cause one to break down. Yeah. It'll have all different because I took the hull of machinery and not the yacht and small craft. A lot of it's towing, tugboat procedure, different types of metals for barges, different type of things to do. Ultimately with like subchapter M, nobody in our area really does subchapter M, which is required by the Coast Guard now for towboats.
Okay.
And right now, to my knowledge, what I was told by the organization was I'm the only surveyor in Northwest Florida who does that.
Okay.
And there's like nobody on the East Coast hardly that does that. So if you get you need a subchapter M inspection, you're running tugboats or whatever, please contact us because we'll be happy to take care of it. I think the next closest guys that are qualified are way over in Alabama.
Cool.
Most of them are in Louisiana.
Yeah. So that's all the testing you got to do for a while, or you got to recertify?
Well, that was it. That was my certification.
Okay.
No, I'm bona fide now, NAM's Global Certified.
That's cool.
Marine surveyor, and that doesn't expire as long as
That's good, like a degree or something. You're still going to have that degree.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Now that doesn't change. I mean, because I have several other things I'm working on as well, because I'm also a member of the International Association of Arson Investigators, International Association of Marine Investigators. So you're constantly schooling for those.
Yeah.
Of course, still ABYC, because we're still doing yachts and small craft for people, and so you're never in schooling. But as far as the certification, I am as certified as a surveyor as you could possibly get.
So under your umbrella, you can do a lot of different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
absolutely.
Good. Marine investigator, that's got to be interesting, though.
It is. I do a lot of forensic work for insurance companies. If they have a claim that, like somebody says, well, my boat was broke into, they'll hire me to go look at it, see was the boat really broke into, or did someone just abscond their equiment. And
Now, people don't do that, do they?
No.
Oh, man.
It's just like nobody will ever lie to you about selling a horse. You know?
Yeah. I
We
really
do that. Arson. I've worked with some of the best forensic minds dealing with arson investigation there are in our area. Mr. Harold Deese and some others, and I've been called on several times when vessels were burned up under suspicious circumstances to go back and determine what caused it, and been to school for that, of course. And it's amazing. You can take just a pile of ashes in a boat hull, and it may take me a little while, but by the end of the day, I don't know if you set that fire or not.
These arson investigators on trailer fires, home fires, and all that, they fascinate me how they go right to the spot where that fire started.
Well, there's a lot of telltale signs you look for that people don't realize, but it is a art beyond just a forensic, science. It is an art on top of that. So a lot of times, they'll get it wrong. But a really good fire investigator, it's just like the old days, cowboys tracking, rustlers.
Just take your time and
just work it out, and you'll find it.
Rustlers. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Come back with some really interesting pictures. Okay, welcome back. Here with Daniel Cole, and he was just giving, before we get to the pictures, he was giving me an example of how, we're talking about arson again. Like I said, I'm fascinated with how they do it, and you gave an example of a situation happening in a town not too far from here. Tell us that example. I think I would like you to share that.
Well, we were called out to a boat that had been hauled out of the water, it burnt to the water line, and the inside of the hull was just full of ashes. And the insurance guys were like, we're probably never going to know what really happened, but. And so we started digging, just taking layers off. The actual inner hull, the deck had fallen down into the bilge, and that's where it was laying. But they kept just moving layers of ash, and sure enough, the area where we thought it happened, they claimed it was an electrical fire, but even the panel was almost completely melted away, so it was way too hot just being an electrical fire. We dig down to the bottom, and sure enough, there's the red bottom of a fuel can where it just burnt straight down to it. So we took our samples and sent them off the lab. Of course, they were just ate up with petroleum products. It was obviously set.
That's cool. So they, like I say, they thought they'd get away with just.
The other side of that is we have another case where the insurance company refused to pay because they were sure it was arson, and the guy hired me to come in as basically a personal investigator. And same situation, dug down through the ashes, got into the cabin, and lo and behold, actually found a space heater that is what had caused it. That you could see that inside the plug was cheap, of course, cheap Chinese-made thing, but it actually had got down in there, and the prongs were deformed and had actually been welded together inside the extension cord it was plugged in. So it just heated and heated and heated, and probably over several years it had happened. But finally, when they touched each other, they welded up. The shore power it was attached to, the breaker didn't trip on the pedestal, and it just let it sit there, and then it erupted, and it set the cabin on fire. And all those interior boats, the carpet, the ceilings that are in there, it's all polyester, so it's like.
So you were able to determine it was caused by a malfunction.
Yep. So we were able to recover for the gentleman that threatened to go to court with the insurance company, and the insurance company paid him out.
So you've been on both sides of it.
Absolutely.
That makes me concerned. You think these extension cords, you think they'll be stronger than that? Do you see that on
those little brown and little white plastic extension cords? We've seen them since we were kids.
Yeah.
Those are the #1 cause of household fires.
Okay, so y'all heard that. Get rid of all those little cheap cords. Get those heavy-duty ones.
Yeah. They're ugly. They're ugly. Burn your house down.
Exactly. Okay, let's get into some pictures. We're going to start over here in Choctahatchee Bay, and one of our viewers, Randy Isaacson sent this in. I'm going to read it to you, then we're going to show you the pictures. Good morning. Had a friend from Texas in for a couple of days to fish. In 2 mornings, we caught 9 redfish, all slot size, and 15 trout. Only 4 keeper trout, as they were mostly small, but good to see them on the flats. A couple of pictures attached. As always, enjoy your show, Randy. So check this out. Is that not a beautiful picture?
beautiful.
Okay, I got those same controls hanging around my neck. That's good picture there, and then those spots on the tail. And look at this picture here. On Choctawhatchee Bay, the redfish are biting good over there. And at the end of the day, that's what makes it worth it. You just watch that sun go down and just relax after a good day of fishing. Thank you, Randy.
I went through there Friday, going over to Destin. That bay was just so slick.
Yeah.
And there was a ton of trucks out there. He was probably one of them.
He might have been one of them, yeah.
God, I wanted to be out there with him. There's a dock there at a public park. I swear, every time I go by, there's this little old guy. I always see him there. Every time I drive by, he's pulling a redfish in off that dock.
No kidding.
Every time. He takes his cast net and his rod, and every time I go by, I've never seen him through the cast net, but he always has buckets of fish, and he's always pulling a redfish out of there.
Next time, take time, stop, go out there and see him and take a picture of him. And then
I'll do that. I'll get a story for you. Maybe we'll talk about that one morning.
He'll be on assignment.
He's obviously been doing that for a while.
He'll be Panhandle Outdoors correspondent on assignment.
Oh, okay. Do I get paid for that?
Yeah, you do. Let me see. Now, look, this is so typical fisherman. 4 a.m., packs lunch for fishing. 5:15 a.m., arrive at fishing spot. 5:17 a.m.
You got that right.
When I saw that, I cracked up because that was something we get out there, and y'all know exactly what we're talking about. You get all those snacks and all that stuff ready, and you get out there, and I'm hungry. You know, I think outdoors, when you get outdoors, it just hits another nerve. It sends you burnt to your brain. It's time to eat. So I got a tickle out of that one. All right, now speaking of Choctawhatchee Bay, a little tackle store on the south end of the bridge there, they had a little tournament this past weekend. Didn't get word about it ahead of time, let y'all know about it. I was going to let you look at these places. The Bay Baits Inshore Classic, the first place redfish 7.9. That's a pretty good weight. Second place 7.2, and third place 6.9. That's pretty close right there. All I say was Austin, Jimmy, and that's some close weight. That's not healthy redfish now. Coming out of there, you put a slot. And then on the trout over here, let me see if I can get a trout blown up. The trout weight, and this is good too, 4.4 for first place, almost a 5-pound trout, 3.2, and then a 2.7, all coming out of there. So good job on that tournament over there. Matt Lewis, I've been telling y'all about how these mahi have been biting, and I've gotten a lot of pictures. This is one of our former students of the month, Matthew Lewis. And he caught a good one, that was last week. Isn't it nice? The red tide report now for this past week. No red tide anywhere except way down there in South Florida at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. It's always down there around Collier County, but nothing up this way. Everything looks healthy and all, and that's good to hear, all those checking points. So that's a weekly report from the FWC side. They do a good job with that. Python challenge. This is fascinating.
I saw that.
It's hard to believe that many pythons are in the Everglades. They just celebrated catching the 900th one. Now the 900th one, he was like a little 2-footer, but this one right here, this set the record. Folks, this one right here is 18 foot and 4 inches. This is not a doctored up photo. This is a real photo from FWC. Now, most boats are 16 foot. That would go from stern to the bow. That's a big python.
That's a big python.
Can you imagine what all that would eat?
Well, that's the problem they're having with them down there. Mm-hmm. All the natural inhabitants of the Everglades are disappearing.
Yeah.
It's even the birds. There's this, I forget what it's called. It's a little black bird. It's got a colored wing, crackling or grayling, something like that. Anyway, they said they've almost went extinct, and it's because of those. All because somebody said, well, it won't hurt nothing, I'll turn this loose.
And I think about that, and I know people, they really meant well. They just didn't want to kill the snake, so they're going to let them go. The thing's going to be okay. And they probably had no idea that it's going to be 18 foot long one day. So the original letting them go was a good idea, but you don't need to do it anymore. Another mahi, Junior Talamets. Junior's a good fisherman. He catches a lot of fish. And that's about the size. That's good eating size.
Yep.
That right there, folks, some good fish tacos. That makes some good fish tacos. Let's see, I've got a couple more. Oh, this picture is sent to us by Mark's Gaines up here around Lake Seminole. This picture of a ball-bait fawn was taken on a farm near Lake Seminole by Mark Gaines. I'm going to blow it up. Now, isn't that fascinating?
Beautiful.
Isn't that just
Piebald. That's funny.
Yeah, isn't that a beautiful picture? Up there, like I say, around Lake Seminole. Thanks, Marks, for sending that. And speaking of big snakes now, this is local. Justin Eubanks, this was in his yard. And he's just like me. He said, I usually relocate snakes rather than kill them, but this cottonmouth was too big. So that was in his yard. And I'm the same way. If I get a snake in my yard around, I sort of dispense of them, but I don't, in the woods and all, I don't kill them just for the sake of killing them. So just be careful. They're moving around this time. And I got all kinds. Let's go and take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. We're trying to get some technology going right here. Let's look at our fishing game times, brought to us by Blue Water Outrigger from Port St. Joe. We're looking at 9:42 to 11:42 this morning, and from 10:04 to 12:04. Now tomorrow, we're going to give away a prize package I've been putting together for our fall sweepstakes. It's going to have some really cool stuff in it. Right now, let's. I got one more. I got a couple more pictures I want to show you. This is fascinating, and Daniel had one. I don't know if I've got it yet. He just sent it to me during the break. Okay, I remember a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, I had the Mosley Outdoor Ed Students of the Month. One of our young men was Bodie Lachina. Bodie, granddad Wayne Lindsay sent me this picture. Bodie is just a great outdoorsman, just always smiling, but always enjoying the outdoors, okay? All right, so I'm going to show you, let me get the first picture. All right, here we go. The first picture, I'm going to just read it to you, okay? Talk about the advantages of catch and release. This is a fish Bodie caught at the end of my dock last Thursday night. So let's take a look, and that's a nice redfish, okay? Caught it last Thursday night, and you see the spots on it. Now the next picture, here he is with the exact same fish last night. Now that's the advantage of catch and release, and that tells you so much about how the redfish is sort of hanging around, but look at that. That's cool. Bodie, that's a great job. Bodie's a good outdoorsman. Now, tell us about, while I'm looking at this picture you just sent to me, you had an incident last night. What happened when you went home last night?
It's not an 18-foot snake in the Everglades.
Yeah, tell us.
I actually walked in the house, and we had storm damage, and like a lot of people, there are no contractors. Everybody's busy, so you can't get nobody to come repair stuff. Mm-hmm. So we have a laundry room that's broken away from the house, kind of, and we've filled the cracks best as we can until we can get the contractor there, whoever it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Someone will return a call and have a draftsman who can draw us a plan.
We know what you're talking about.
But anyway, I come in on the refrigerator and I see a head poking off the top of the refrigerator. I was like, I wonder who put that toy snake up there. And I looked up there, and darn if it wasn't.
It wasn't a toy snake.
A little oak snake. Yeah, he'd come in from somewhere, and he climbed on top of the refrigerator. I guess he was hungry and looking for something. So I called him, and it was weird because he's very docile. He never tried to bite. He was not, in any way, was he aggressive.
That's the way, that's the way they are.
But he was hungry because he turned around and he opened his jaw and he started slipping his mouth over my pinky. And I was like, well, he must be really hungry. So
I think, okay.
I need to get him out somewhere where he could get something to eat. But it was just kind of funny to me.
Here, we got it right here. Okay, here we go. All right, so here he is on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah, that's where I first found him.
So you don't normally see that every morning, every day, every afternoon.
My little girl was sitting there doing her schoolwork, and it's like.
So they're real gentle snakes and all, but they will scare you to death if you're not used to them. So I got that one, and then you got them.
Yeah, that's how small he was.
Yeah. So we need to be. We say snakes. When we say
he was
snakes,
a little guy, but he was cute. I hope he hangs around. To be honest with you, I don't need him inside, but
give him a name, and that always helps out. Okay, I know some of y'all are working on the exercise program. Here's the way to doing crunches twice a day now. Okay, we don't have it, do we? We'll do it tomorrow. We'll talk about that. All right, we got just a couple minutes left and all. Our viewing audience, a lot of them have boats and all. We're getting ready for the fall season. What would you tell them about their boats and all? You mentioned electrical contacts and all. That's something.
Just remember in your off season, if you want to have a good spring, it's time to do your maintenance. So go in, get some salt away and a spray formula or something. Spray down your stuff that's exposed and put something over it that'll protect it from corrosion. Just spray it on. don't forget that even though we don't have really cold winters here, there's certain things you can do to help winterize. If this is the time of year when you're not using your boat, if it needs to be serviced, put it in the shop and get it done. So everybody's not down there in line 3 weeks trying to get their boat back at the mechanic in the spring. Just simple little things you can do.
Those fuel additives, the additives and all, you recommend those?
I do. I tell you, one that I use all the time, I get from Bubba up there at Harts, but you can get it anywhere. Yamaha makes a fuel additive that you can put in there. It's almost like an oil, and my engine, I know it always runs better when I put it in there. It's about $15 for a quart, but it doesn't take but like an ounce per gallon. And so I look at it like mixing two-stroke oil with that, even though it's not a two-stroke engine. Okay. But it runs so smooth and clean. It's just really good stuff. And and it says it's formulated to allow you to use the E80 gases with the ethanol in them in those motors, which I never recommend. But in some pinch cases, in my own case, I have had to. But when I've used that, I've never had a problem. So
that's interesting. You see, okay, real quick now, let's talk about fishing. I know you like to catch Spanish mackerel. I've seen some nice Spanish caught recently. Have you had a chance to get out?
I have not had time. We've been so busy. It's been just phenomenal.
Well, you just need to take a break this weekend. It's going to be a good weekend to go.
I would love to.
And your hunting leash and all, you got everything
We're finally getting it together, but it's taken some time.
Yes.
We had to replace all of our shooting houses, and so we worked on that the last 3 weekends, which is really too late. But we all have jobs. So
I'm in the same boat as far as getting
fit it in when you can.
Yeah, I know it. It's just it's taken a lot longer than I thought to get stuff ready like that, and I think what it was. So we got to wrap it up. Daniel, thanks again.
Thank you. Always a pleasure being here.
Always great having you. And don't get caught up in all that traffic. You see a lot of traffic during the day, don't you?
Gosh, it's awful.
I know it is. Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors, folks. We appreciate the viewership. Going to do some giveaways tomorrow, and a special guest coming in. So y'all have a great day. Do something good for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.